Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. Saturday late evening for those in Asia, and Saturday afternoon for those from Europe. Think of this as a train ride, a 2-hour train ride, with the first stop at 1 hour, and then the second stop at hour and a half. Okay, so you already bought ticket for the whole train ride. There's no refund if you get off early. All right, so we're gonna begin, and the word that I want to use today is possibility. We really want to explore the possibility that our existence is just beyond the physicality, to include both what we call chi and the mind. The possibility that our health is not just the physical health, but the health is really harmony of the different existence, different dimensions of our existence. So what we want to do is we want to come back to the body. From the body, we work on the chi. In this case, the chi is just the breath. And then we go towards the mind. And in that case, it's just the thinking mind. So let's just calibrate our body, straighten up our spine, and relax. So when we do exercise, think of like the engine. I don't know how many of you actually know how an engine works. I grew up in the 70s, and we always work on engines. So we know that engines have strokes, right? So imagine that as you bring in your hand, it's as if you are in one stroke, and then when you come down, you're in the opposite stroke. And as soon as you finish, that's one cycle, and you just have to relax before you do the next one. Don't accumulate, okay? Because what happened is that now this exercise is very gentle, but as we progress, we're going to do more and more robust exercise. And when you do more robust exercise, the body will react. The body will react. It doesn't know. It thinks that you're in danger, or it thinks at least you need the energy. So it's going to put out some stress hormone, which is good because you need that to survive. But the point is that as soon as the cortisol and the adrenaline comes in, you want to give it some space to dissipate. So this is what we call the yin and the yang. The yang is masculine, the yin is feminine. So as soon as you bring up your hand, that's masculine. Then when you come down, you have to relax. It's the yin-yang harmony that we're looking for, okay? Now, these days we have words like autonomous nerve disorder. It's just, all it means is that you're not able to find the balance between the fight or flight versus the rest and digest. The fight or flight is what we call the sympathetic, and the rest and digest is what we call the parasympathetic, right? And because of disorder, a lot of what we call lifestyle disease will come together. Things like diabetes, high blood pressure, you name it. Just a long list of what we now call the lifestyle disease. It all comes from this imbalance between the different parts of your autonomous nerve system. Okay. Now, Kay says, why do we push through pain instead of minimizing the movement? So this is a very good question. It's a very, very deep question. And so let me just confess. My confession is this, that this is not an exercise class. This is a spiritual practice disguised as an exercise class. This is not about our body. This is really about our mind. We're just using the body as a vehicle to explore our mind, because that's all we have. We don't have anything else. We just have our body. So our spiritual practice is not about avoidance. It's not about avoiding pain. So this is bullshit that you have to avoid unpleasantness. It's not about that. It's about engaging unpleasantness, but understanding how your mind reacts to the unpleasantness. Pain is unpleasant. Most of us want to avoid it. I'm not asking you to destroy your body in order to get the pain. I'm just asking you to do it very naturally. Feel the pain, embrace the pain, let go of the pain. Okay? This is just a very tiny step towards the spiritual practice that ultimately is about engaging the mental pain, embracing the mental pain, and understand how the pain doesn't need to metastasize into suffering. That's what it's all about. It's all about spiritual practice. Okay, Kay? Thank you for the question. Thank you very much. And then I will answer that question in a minute. It's a very important question about our breath. Okay? But before I do that, I started today's workshop or boot camp with the word possibility. Possibility. So anyway, I'm 65 years old, and I came to this country when I was 15. And when I look at my peer, I notice a few things. Now, I cut my hair really short. I like that. And someone actually mentioned, Denny, you look a lot like Japanese. Maybe she's really thinking that I look a lot like a monk because I have very short hair. But also, I think my demeanor and everything reflects my practice. So, but enough of that. But as you cut the hair short, you notice some scar. Okay, very common with people of my age, with my background. Why do we have scar like that? Because penicillin was not invented yet. And so when you get lice or something, it's a horrible, horrible problem. There's no cure for that. Okay? Simple thing like penicillin didn't exist. Measles, another life-threatening disease. And so often we have little scar. People of my age have a little scar because we have done the inoculation. So I grew up with all kinds of possibility of Western science bringing goodness to our life, improving the quality of life. I understand all that. I grew up with no refrigerator. I grew up with no air conditioning. I grew up with no television. And I see all that possibility, all that Western technology really coming into our life. I understand all that. I embrace all that. But here we're talking about possibility of another dimension, the possibility that our health is not just one dimension, because Western science tend to be very one dimension. We talk about our body. For every symptom, there is a medicine you can take. The medicine to take away the symptom, and they think that you're healthy. I want to talk about the possibility that our health is much more than that. And so what we did in the next 2 hours, a little bit more now than 2 hours, is to really explore the possibility, explore the harmony within us, explore the harmony, not just yin and yang, because that's too simple. That's too much simplification. It's really exploring the harmony between the 5 elements, the water, the plant, the fire, the soil, and the mineral. And both the Chinese and the North Indians base their knowledge, their scientific knowledge, on these 5 elements. And they relate them to not only our existence, but to our internal organs. The water is the kidney. The kidney is the source of life. We should do everything we can to preserve the kidney. And the Western technology, everything that I so treasure growing up as a child, has done nothing but destroying our kidney. All the things that we do now, all the modern science, all the modern way of living has done nothing but destroy the very foundation of a life, which is water. Water is a kidney. With water comes wood, which is the liver, right? Because the way that life begins is in the plant, and that's how the Chinese and the Indian believe, is the liver is where life begins, the blood created in the liver. With the wood comes the fire, which is the heart. With the heart comes the soil, which is the splint, very important organ, something you should never take away. And with the splint comes the lung, which is the mineral. And the lung, the mineral, is what adds vitality back in the water. So it's that yin and yang relationship between the 5 elements, between our existence. It's the possibility that perhaps our health is more about the harmony within ourselves. It's a possibility that perhaps our health is not just the harmony within us, but the harmony with the universe, the earth and the heaven. That's the possibility. Okay? Now, Annette asked the question, which is, I notice myself holding my breath at times and feeling lightheaded and dizzy until I remember to breathe again. So this is one of the biggest problems with meditation, the way I see it, is that they focus too much on the mind. They think that mind is something you can just leap to, right? Whereas the foundation ought to be with the body first. That's one problem. The other problem is that they don't understand that the body actually includes the mind, the thinking mind. So not only do you have to let go of your eye and your nose and your tongue and your ear and your touch, you have to let go of your mind. Because otherwise, when you let go of the rest of the faculty, your mind would take over and it becomes very, very dangerous, right? Your mind holding your breath, your mind regulating your breath, that's only the least of your problem. Okay? So in my practice, I focus a lot on the thinking mind, how to relax the thinking mind, how to let go of your breath. Okay? So Annette, I don't have a simple answer for you. I'm just saying that you asked the right question. You asked the right question because as you relax, your mind is start to say, "Ooh, wait a minute! There's an opportunity now for me. All these other distractions that I had, I don't have anymore. Let me take over." Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Let go of your mind. Let go of your mind. So when we practice again, listen to what I said very carefully. Listen to what I said very carefully. Find a place for your mind. Anchor your mind somewhere. Don't let your mind wander away, because a wandering mind is very dangerous, especially in the presence of your practice, in the presence of actually quieting your eye, your nose, and all that. Your mind takes over. Okay, this is the reason why when I used to visit the prison a lot, and one of the worst punishment you can give to an inmate is to put them in isolation. This is the worst you can do. The inmates would do everything they can to avoid solitary confinement. Why? Because once you're in solitary confinement, your other senses get shut down. Your eye, there's nothing to see. There's nothing to smell. There's nothing to touch. You have no choice but to shut down your five faculties. Your mind takes over. Very, very dangerous. So listen to what I said in the practice. Focus on your mind. I always said focus your mind on the center of your palm. Now, in Chinese, it's very simple because the Chinese word the mind means the heart. The heart means the center. So when I explain this in Cantonese, it's very simple. Put your heart at the heart. Put your mind at the center of your palm. Two heart together. Okay? Two heart together. So when you practice again, and that whether you do that watching YouTube or when you come back on Saturday, make sure that you listen to that part. Two parts very important. One is anchor your mind onto your body. Anchor your mind on your body when you're in movement, whether you're exercising or you're walking. Anchor your mind on your breath. And just observe your breath. Don't take over the breath. Just observe your breath. Okay? So we alternate. So next week when we go back to the Yi Jing Jing, then I'll talk about how to let go of your breath. Okay? So here we really focus on it's definitely not Tai Chi. It's definitely not Tai Chi. Tai Chi, the word Qi in this case is different from Qigong. It's actually Tai Chi. Tai Chi means the supreme polar. Okay, so this is actually coming back to the yin yang symbol, which is also not called the yin yang. It's the Tai Chi symbol. Okay, so that's a form of exercise. Now, I answered this question many times, which is this a form of Qigong? And I would say yes, because Qi means energy, Gong means practice. So this is a form of practice of your Qi, except the word Qigong is a very modern word, and we tend not to use that word. We use the word called Dao Yan, which means to guide and to entice. Okay, so with the connotation that Qigong means that you're practicing to acquire something from external, that's not the case. This is about guiding and enticing what's already within you. Okay, so if you want to call this Qigong, you can call it Qigong. I just don't do that. I rather use the more traditional word called Dao Yan.